FPL Game Week 29 Free Hit Essentials. My name is Benji, and first we're going to be identifying teams you need to target in 29. Then I'm going to walk you through my personal free hit draft, and then we're going to go through all of the top defenders, midfielders, and strikers you need to be considering. Thinking Cap activated. According to current market odds, Man City are the best attack to invest in for 29. They're playing an in-form Brighton at the Etihad. For me, I do consider City attackers to be the top target attacking-wise, but defensively, I'd actually avoid the likes of a Gvardiol or an Ederson. They're only given a 29% chance for a clean sheet by the bookies, and I don't really rate City's defense that much, but I do rate Brighton's form across the last few weeks. They've been performing excellently, so I don't think City's defense is actually essential, but certainly from an attacking perspective, it's definitely necessary to have at least one on your free hit. Arsenal's projected odds are top 2 in both categories, but I believe the markets are slightly overrating Arsenal. I'd be careful with investing over there. Bournemouth are projected 1.88 goals against Brentford. Iraola's attack has actually been very productive this season, so that does make sense. Bournemouth attackers are definitely in the power curve for Game Week 29. Fulham and Man United attackers would be next in line for investment, which makes sense looking at their fixtures. Defensively, it's Arsenal, Everton, and United with the highest clean sheet likelihood this weekend. Once again, I do believe the bookies are slightly inflating Arsenal's projections, but this could just be a clean sheet there. I don't think that Chelsea game is going to be that easy. If you do prefer some of the other defenses, I do think Forest's odds at 31% are a little low considering the strength of their defense. I also think Everton are a decent bet at home to West Ham, but West Ham have been decent under Graham Potter. For me, I'd definitely be targeting the teams who are playing the promoted sides. Forest, United, and Wolves are your go-tos this week. Make sure to hit the teams with those projected odds in the strong greens, but be careful with Arsenal because I don't see that Chelsea game as a locked clean or a locked few goals for Arteta. So we're going to run through my free hit draft, what I'd choose if I was playing the chip in Game Week 29. In net, I'd opt for Onana away to Leicester. As you guys have seen, United do have good clean sheet odds on the weekend, and because our defense does leak a few shots, prone to conceding a few chances, he could rack up a few save points as well. Onana's baseline is also pretty high, which means he does have a shot at picking up a few bonus points. The 3 defenders I've chosen are Ryan Ait-Nouri, Nico Williams, and Milenkovic. It's pretty clear to see what I'm going for. I'm really targeting those promoted teams. Forest have kept the joint most clean sheets this season alongside Liverpool, and statistically their defense is top 4 this season, so I'd double up there. Although Wolves aren't the most trustworthy investment defensively, Ait-Nouri is a high upside fullback with a ton of attacking license, so I think he's got a massive ceiling. He's one of those guys who can genuinely go out and get you a 15-pointer, and the fixture in the form of Southampton away is excellent. Moving into the midfield, I've gone for Bruno, Foden, Mbeumo, Kluivert, and City's Savinho in a 3-5-2. I've gone for the double City mids because I still like the Brighton fixture from an attacking standpoint, and a lot of Savinho's assists have gone to Erling Haaland, who's pairing up with Chris Wood in my front line. Because Salah and Palmer aren't in the captaincy equation for Game Week 29, it makes sense to own the likes of Wood and Haaland on a free hit because they're super important for captaincy. If you're not giving your captain to one of them, who are you giving your armband to? So I've gone for that triple City attack. I have stayed loyal to Mbeumo, even though the fixture in Bournemouth away is a little tougher. That's because his routes to points are just really, really strong. You're not going to find a midfielder with better routes to points than Mbeumo most on average. That's because his routes to points include set pieces, corners, pens, and Bournemouth's defense hasn't been amazing over the last few game weeks, so it could be a goal fest in that one. I've just decided to stay loyal to him. Kluivert is in as well for similar reasons. He is on pens and stuff, and I think he's in excellent form at the moment. He's just really, really hot this year, and that's why I'd go for him. It's including on form. And I just love this draft a lot because you're basically steering clear of that Chelsea-Arsenal game entirely. I love the triple City attack. I feel like you've got a really strong attack there. You're not going for Gvardiol. I feel like this draft's just got the perfect amount of United. I think it's got a very, very good triple up on Nottingham Forest. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. We're going to run through the best options in each position now, starting with the defenders. In the expensive price bracket, it includes the likes of Gabriel and Saliba from Arsenal, as well as Josko Gvardiol from Manchester City. Look, if it was me and if I was free hitting, I'd be avoiding all three of these guys because I don't see a lock to bank a clean sheet in any of those fixtures. I'd prioritize the Forest defenders 100%. Not only are they one of the best statistical defenses available for investment, but they've also got a much better fixture than Arsenal defenders do. Brighton are in red hot form right now. I think they're on a 6-game winning streak under Hurtseller, so I'm expecting City to concede at least a goal, whereas I'd back Forest to clean much more in 29. Definitely be looking to include at least one of Ola Aina, Milinkovic, Nico Williams on your free hit. I'd probably lock in Milinkovic just because he is a target from set pieces for Forest. Sells in goal is also a decent alternative if you wanted to kind of go that way too. If you look at defender GA on this sheet, you'll begin to understand why I'm so high on Ait-Nouri. Yes, I understand Wolves haven't kept many cleans this year, but Cunha is unavailable for selection, and I do expect that Wolves team to still pick up the GA slack in his absence. And I think with the amount of attacking upside Ait-Nouri has license to under Vitor Pereira, and I think he could be the guy that they look to cook up a GA. And if that GA does come with a clean sheet, you're going to be looking at upwards of 12 to 15 points. And I understand Man United's defense has been poor this season, but I think we've kept 6 clean, 5 or 6, anywhere from 5 to 7 clean sheets this season, which is okay. And Leicester are just absolutely honking at the moment. I think they've only scored twice in their last 8, and that was the 2-1 win against Tottenham. At home, they've been absolutely shocking. And according to FPL reviews, predicted points model, Delo and Mazraoui are very highly rated for 29. So I thought I'd give them a shout out. Another consideration would be Everton defenders, maybe a Tarkowski, a Mykolenko. They have a decent home game in West Ham, but I'd still be targeting the promoted team fixtures. There's a few cheeky midfielder options on free hit 29, but the one I'd lock in straight away is Bruno Fernandes. I'll wait till Leicester. No, it's not because I'm a United fan, guys. It's not. He's genuinely one of the best midfielders available in 29, considering fixture and routes to points. Bruno's also in pretty good form at the moment. I think he's returned in all of his last 3 league starts, so I'd strongly advocate for Bruno on your free hit. In the premium price category, I'd probably dodge the likes of Son and Palmer, but Phil Foden should be a consideration. His historical record against Brighton is excellent, and his expected points from review suggest that he is a top candidate to be in your free hit teams. As I said at the start of the video, I do believe Arsenal to be a little bit overrated in 29. I think their projections are a little overrated. That Chelsea game is not going to be a walkover in my opinion, so I would be avoiding the likes of an Odegaard, Nwaneri, Trossard, because I actually think there's stronger quality attacks with better fixtures you could go for. Kluivert is one of them, and he's probably my favorite in that price category. He's got loads of attacking returns this year. He's on pens, and he's a very good penalty taker for Bournemouth, and he's at home against Brentford. He's starting to take a few corners now as well, so his routes to points are increasing. I think he's another no-brainer inclusion. You could still go for an Mbumo, but the fixture isn't that great. Bournemouth will have Zabani, who is their basically first choice center back. He's back from suspension, and I don't see that as an easy match for Mbumo at all, especially with how good Milos Kerkez has been recently. I prefer Mbumo to a Forest midfielder, though. I still think that, with his routes to points, he is a little bit stronger for me, and I think that Forest defense must be the priority, and there's just not enough space for an Elanga or a Gibbs-White if you're doubled up defensively. Elanga isn't also nailed for 90 minutes, and what picks do you want on free hit? You're going to want 90-minute men, you're going to want pens, you're going to want routes to points, you're going to want good form. I just think there's better options than some of those Forest midfielders. Semenyo, Iwobi, there's a few decent punts out there if you wanted to go for it, but for me, I would look at Savinho. He's probably my favorite punt to go for, and I do think City could score a few goals at home to Brighton. He's produced 11 returns this season, with most of his assists going to Erling Haaland, who we're discussing next. The striker market is much smaller compared to the midfielder market. However, I will say that Wood and Haaland will be those main captaincy options this week. For me, they've got to be in a free hit team. Absolutely essential. Chris Wood has 5 returns against promoted teams alone this season, and Haaland has Brighton at home on pens And in a week where Salah doesn't play, he's a very interesting transfer in even for non-free hit teams. Marmoush was benched against Forest. I'd probably steer clear of him on free hit just because of minutes uncertainty. The likes of Raul, Beto, even Wisa, I think if you own them, if you're a non-free hit guy, then that's fine, keep them. But on free hit, you want the absolute best options, and I don't think Raul, Beto, Wisa have a place in your 7 attackers on free hit 29. If you wanted to go punt somewhere in the forward line, I would advocate and I would ask you to consider Josh Zirkzee. His minutes across the last few league games have been pretty decent, so you could consider him. But I would look to go for invest in a stronger attack potentially. I would look to go for a guy with a few better routes to points, maybe some penalties there, and that's probably where I would be aiming for in my front line. I think Chris Wood, Haaland, absolutely own them, but I do prefer the 3-5-2 this week. If you've enjoyed this one, like, subscribe, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Peace.